Hey guys, welcome back to Virtuosity Memphis's NewVMusic. We are at episode 38 with the 901 Spotlight, and we have a special guest who we have known forever. It is one of our former guests at Young Avenue Sound and a really good friend of ours and the owner of HotKey Studios. Take it away, Blake.
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
We're doing good.
HotKey Studios, we're a local Memphis-based production company. We're primarily targeting local musicians and trying to help them in their transition.
I love that.
Because it's hard to, as a local artist, get somebody that's willing to mess with you on a local level, backing, and it's hard in a community too where we have such this big, or our standards are so high. We have the Justin Timberlakes, we have the Elvises, we have this historic old community and partially new, but we have such high standards now that we have venues that, really want to promote and book larger artists that bring in big ticket bills. And, the local scene has kind of been dwindled down to a couple venues. So what we try to do, is really come in and help these bands and not try to, scalp them basically for a music video, because everybody needs exposure and needs somebody that's willing to work with them, and helping local artists is kind of where we got our foundation. But we also do larger projects, and that's kind of the fun in the essence is the fact that we can jump to huge projects down to small projects, and we're able to do most of that all in-house.
Oh, what, like between the large and the small, do you have like a preference? I mean, I know the money is going to be a factor.
Yeah, the money's definitely better on the bigger projects, but and you have, I guess, more creative freedom. Yeah. You have more budget. You can hire a pyro guy. And hire a full crew, and that really does help. But it's the main thing with huge videos it's the fine tuning. Everything is just so fine tuned. Everybody's tailored into one narrow point of view that it's just success all around.
Yeah.
And with lower quality stuff or lower budgets, you do get a lesser quality, but you can still achieve the general look that the big $17,500, $6,000, $7,000 videos are doing.
Yeah.
And you can do it, for a couple grand generally or less, and it's and try not chasing that bottom line. With the small ones, you get more ideas. People are more willing to go out, and it's more run and gun. You definitely go and do a lot more rolling up to locations. You're not pulling as many permits, but it's fun. It's a different level of fun, because the big projects, you're stressed. Mm-hmm. You gotta. If it doesn't work, that doesn't work. Yeah. So when the smaller projects, you have a little more time, a little more freedom. Yeah. It's more of your art. You get a little more expression out of it.
Well, one question, or not really a question. You have an artist coming up to you, and they're wanting to ask you for a quote.
Sure.
This artist is, you're going to charge not a significant, but a dollar amount because, look what you're bringing. Exactly. You're bringing something that's like super high quality compared to what people are used to for $200 or $300 videos. You're talking to a client or a potential client. Kind of express to us, as you would to them, like why you would want to do that.
Doing, or I guess, video production since I was 15.
Yeah.
Started off, in the high school studio setting, and was director over there, and went to college and did that, and got out of school, and we instantly went to work in the industry. Yeah. As far as, I'm a director, I'm an editor. We do different jobs and hold them. But, I also, on bigger sets, I do lighting. Yeah. I'm a gaffer and a grip. So, we have certain skill sets and that you can't get as one person.
Yes.
And we, whether it's, I've went and gripped for the Brian Banks movie that was in town a couple months back. So, and even though you're just a day player on that, it's a learning experience, and you're not the top dog in the industry, We're also have more experience with bigger productions. We know the flow of how to get things done quickly.
Yeah.
And, with us, too, with a smaller person, they're going to come in with a homemade light.
Yeah.
or something that they got on value for, $250. I mean, we have real products.
Yeah.
We have the equipment, we have the cameras, and I think more importantly than all that, we have the crew and the talent. We have people that work with us. We're currently at 4 individuals, and it's a fun experience when you come to us because it's not very stressful.
Yeah.
On the client end, they don't have to,
Yeah.
I guess, carry themselves through the mud because they think that their video, they have to do all this stuff to make their video good. I like to think that we make it easy.
I mean, and you're bringing sound, video, lighting, just everything into one.
We have full sound. We can do audio recording, live sound, ADR, and then we also do music videos, corporate, weddings.
Yeah.
And we have full access to recording studios pretty much at any time of the day. So it gets interesting.
The full package,
yeah, we can cover many different revenues where most people are focused only on one.
So this is kind of what separates the mixtape from the actual
the
EAP.
album. Yeah.
That's the difference between the two. We have clients that we do videos with or have done videos, and they're great videos, but that one piece of, I guess you would say, promotion or marketing can take you from no one knowing who you are to being full-fledged, viral all over the country, having people coming at you with contracts.
Well, and today with social media, it's the power of hashtags. It's the power of, and that's where we'll go do videos that people will spend $20,000, but they won't know how to promote it.
Yeah.
And their videos don't do well. Sure, you spend all that money for your quality and you have a great product, but if you don't know how to do anything with it, what's the point?
Exactly.
But
you still need that good product. I mean,
but that's where these local bands they've almost got the social media side more. They can do it themselves. They don't have to go hire, because when you get to be a big artist and you're spending all this money, you have this huge multi-person team. It becomes basically a corporation, and 10 people have to sign off before anything gets approved. And with local bands, you're able to give them the content. They're able just to promote.
Yeah.
And, it's a different world now because, I come from a generation of going around and hanging up flyers, handing out. That's MySpace really was the first, social media change, where you could go to the internet. And
kids are going back to MySpace now, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, Black Bear has a MySpace page, does he not?
That was the only way to get music out.
Yeah.
And to really grow your fan base besides Pure Volume and those old sites that I don't even know if they exist anymore. Yeah. But it's a completely different world, and it's just constantly changing now.
Yeah.
So it's being able to stay up to date with what you're doing. And
well, this is the 901 Spotlight, and we had a conversation on the phone. You were telling me about the Memphis music scene and kind of how your whole, I guess you would say, goal board or dream about why you want to do this. Sure. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I started in local music.
Yeah.
I grew up, I think I was 14 when I was in my first band. Been playing guitar my whole life, but the great thing about when I was coming up was the fact that we were able to go to, there was a lot more age-friendly venues.
Yes.
So there's Skate Park in Memphis, for example. There was a place that most of the bands you saw playing there was almost 2 music scenes. You had your bar scene and your, it's funny because now I'm in One Less Reason, but at the time, One Less Reasons, your Egypt Centrals, and, then they controlled the adult market. And then you had the skate park, Smith 7 at the time, kind of bands that were dominating the local scene on a high school kind of level, middle school even. And it was a place for, we've lost the place where parents can drop their kids off.
They feel comfortable.
And feel comfortable, yeah. Because, we just don't have any other options now. Yeah. All we have are bars.
Yeah.
So coming from the local music scene, there wasn't anybody really cutting music videos back then. It wasn't really even an option. That
was something reserved for.
Yeah, you had to have. It's still. It was still somewhat doable. We still messed around with handy cams and mini DV tapes, and had fun doing that kind of stuff. But it wasn't really anywhere near the quality we're able to do today.
Yeah.
And the average person can go buy a camera for $1,000, $2,000, and it'd be a pretty decent product.
Yeah.
So helping these bands and showing them, you know, especially since times have changed, it's all about that social media presence now. It's not about playing a show every weekend.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to saturate, actually.
yeah, you don't want to
to my clients
saturate.
about
Yeah,
that.
and I mean that's where it was kind of different back then, you know, because it was more of just it was really strange because it wasn't about like it was more of a community that we had. Like everybody knew each other. It's funny, you know. Taylor AG and Ryan Gill now they were at the time Won't Look Back booking, and now they're running shows refreshingly heavy and refreshingly catchy, this series of shows, and they're having great success at the High Tone and around town with those. And but I mean, I remember, you know, they were the first persons to put shows on for me.
Yeah.
And it's like just the times we've just been narrowed down to very few places, and the places that we have are great and they do great things for our city.
Yeah.
But we just need more options for younger kids.
And we do. I mean, because technically that's where most of the people that spend money, they start at 14, 15 years old, even though we don't acknowledge that, especially in the local scene. You know?
And then too, you have, you know, the parents also spending the money. It's Mom, I want to buy a shirt after this show. You know, I want to have something.
Yeah.
And so, and that's where I think this, you know, it kind of could get hard in essence, I guess, in the business model, because you would have to get 1 million kids through the door constantly.
And
you
then
know,
there's the whole insurance, issue.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess that's kind of why some of them don't do it. I know some bars still have 18 and up, but nobody's letting. It's like.
Well, and there's some great bands I actually just saw on Facebook yesterday from another production company in town that one of their videos they did was this high school band, and it looked, you know, like an amazing video. Yeah. But it was this high school band that you know, and it's like, well, where are they going to go play in town? You know, it's
if this is a private event,
unless it's, you know, like a coffee shop type of thing, but if you're a rock band or a punk or a hardcore band or a metal band, like bands that I grew up playing with, you can't go play metal music in
Java Cabana,
it just doesn't
probably
work.
Wouldn't go over too well.
Or going into Huey's, you know, it's like there needs to be a venue, and you know that's kind of where I guess my motivation comes from, and you know it's just helping since we don't have that place, you know, is to really help these artists as much as we can.
Get exposure.
You know, and
I mean that kind of fits in with our whole goal when we did Virtuosity. So that's why I was like, I love this. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
We originally wanted to help musicians kind of break out of, because a lot of them can't afford to pay people to do PR and do this stuff like that. Exactly. So we kind of wrap all that into one and
it's great to learn it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what some of the most successful people that I grew up with and are now currently, you know, touring and on Sony, Universal, you know, these huge record labels, they were also some of the best hustlers when it came to their own bands and their own brand.
Yeah.
You know, they were the dudes out there with 3,000 flyers, you know, spending their own money and massive credit card debt because they wanted amps and they wanted to do the band and they believed in their product. And that's something that I think really needs to be pushed to people nowadays is we're in a world where you can almost do everything yourself.
Well, you have to invest in yourself also in order to get, if you're going to get anywhere.
That's the problem. You know, you kind of see this yin and yang effect of, well, my friend has this camera, my friend has this Pro Tools rig, or has something similar to Pro Tools, you know, he's got a guitar, he's got an amp, well, we're just going to do it ourselves. And I think there is a place for that, you know. But when you're trying to branch into that next level and you want to, you're going to have to put money behind yourself.
Yeah.
Because other people aren't going to do it if you don't do it.
Yeah.
If they don't see that you're willing to invest in yourself, why would they give you money? Why would they book you on this next show? Like, exactly. I mean, you don't care, you know, is what it appears.
If you just look like you're doing it for fun.
Exactly. And I mean, there is a certain level of, you know, bands that are successful with that fun model, you know, but, you know, local bands that are spending, even if it's just $1,000, $1,500 on a music video. I mean, and it's sure it might be a simple video, it might be heavily performance, not a lot of story, but you know, they're still getting the camera quality, they're getting the lights, they're getting more than what they're they're paying for it, you
Yeah,
know,
it
and
goes from being a joke, brat, or whatever. You know, I'm not saying it's a joke, but you know what I'm saying.
But you're right. I mean, there are people that, you know, and there's this very new mentality of less is more.
Yeah.
And that, you know, we're just going to go back to the basics, and that's the simple's better. And that is true, you know, to some extent. There is essence and beauty and simplicity, but not when it comes to production. You know, production is a lot of work.
Yeah,
And
I can see.
and there's a very high learning curve. And, you know, and we're not claiming to be the best. I mean, there's 10 times better dudes in this city than me. But, you know, there are stepping stones.
Yeah.
And you have to get there.
Yeah.
And not investing in yourself, you're never going to hit your next marker.
Yeah.
And you have to see where you're at, your age, what you want to accomplish, and set reasonable goals to get there.
Yeah.
And that's where I worry local bands now just think they're going to make an EP for $1,000 and put it on SoundCloud and it's going to get picked up, and that's not going to work.
That's not. I mean, yeah, that's not a whole lot
You know,
of that going
I mean,
around.
it's all about exposure now and the image and putting things. You're going to have to, sure, you might go cut a $1,500 music video, but you might also have to go put $200 in ads on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, or Instagram. You're going to have to do some sort of promotion.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
I know everybody thinks that they can have their friends share their video and that's going to be the end.
Well,
And
now
they're
the algorithm changes. That's kind of
Yeah,
shut that
and
off.
I mean, you know, and there's this new model too where we're doing covers. Kind of covers are coming back in. We're recreating on people's work to get exposure because people are doing, you know, a Justin Timberlake song as a cover, you know, because people know that song is huge right now, and they will go, and when people search for that song, they'll see our version type of model. And, you know, it's very successful currently. And I don't necessarily think everybody should jump on that, but even then, it's like those bands that are making it like that, they took the time to rewrite a song, record it, put money in a good production, and then cut a music video for it.
Yeah.
And then probably did some promotion, and that's not even their song. They were just having fun.
Yeah.
And even though they were just having fun, like what you said earlier, you know, they still cared about that fun.
Yeah.
And other people buy into that.
Yeah.
You know, when you make it look easy, people think you're rock stars. You know, and I think that's something that local bands kind of need to
No.
relearn is you
And-
got to invest in yourself before other people will invest
And
in
it's
you.
not, it's a long shot thinking anybody's just going to come up and find you and, I'm going to pay for everything and here we go and
Yeah.
da-da-da. And that doesn't happen. But what will happen with that mentality, you'll have people taking advantage.
And there's the
and it's-
Macklemores. You know, I know Macklemore was the most recent success, I think, of he didn't go to a major record label,
Yeah.
and he was able to do it himself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen to everybody. I mean, you know, and it's, sure, you can go find your backer,
Yeah.
but those are far and in between. And
And they're pretty
and
strapped
they're
right
stiff,
now. the ones that are
and
doing-
even then, you know, you're half selling your soul. You're gonna, you owe them.
Yeah.
When they send you on tour, you know, and they give you the option of, do you want the 15 passenger or do you want the tour bus? And you take the tour bus. Well, they're not just giving you the tour bus for your convenience. You're going to have to make up that on the back end somewhere.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay for that eventually.
Yeah.
You know, it just might be $10 less on your check that you get at the end of the night.
Yeah.
You know, but the music industry is very fickle and very,
Yeah.
you know, it keeps up with its dollars spent.
Well, yeah.
And you know, bands need to invest.
I do. And I really believe that you guys have this is a really, just the fact that you told me that you guys are going to be doing these for local musicians.
Sure.
That's pretty amazing. So I was like, yes, let's talk about this. Let's do this because, they need to know.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of great musicians right now in the city of Memphis, and they're not getting beyond playing, you know, a weekly or a monthly gig somewhere. And one of the reasons they're not is because of this type of barrier. There's certain things they're not getting beyond. And this is something that's going to help that. So,
And to another point you said earlier, you know, it's the saturation of the market now. And it's the same for bands as it is even for us at HotKey. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, there are a million bands that want a million rappers, a million people that have in-home studios and do it themselves now. And just the same element, you know, on my end, there's everybody has a camera. Sony's made it really easy to go get $1,000 camera now and it look amazing.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get yourself, it's hard to shine through all the noise sometimes, you know, and that's where I think it's hard for the lower guys is you get blended in with this noise.
Yeah.
And even though it might not be great quality, it might be 10 times less than what you're doing.
Yeah.
But in their mind, you know, they still want to make what you're making.
Yeah.
And so they might charge even what you are.
Yeah.
And somebody might hear that price and think that's a deal, and they might think that, well, to get that, I'm going to spend way more. And, you know, it's really not. It's just that person is
Not providing with
is
it.
not charging and not doing the service that they're claiming they are.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's there's a certain level between I'm doing this as a hobby and I'm a professional.
Yeah.
And it's with bands, you know, it's same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you take it serious, people will hopefully see. But again, you're going to have to advertise. You're
Yeah.
going to have to somehow
Get your name out there.
stick out, whether
Yeah.
it's through branding, your image, through hopefully, you know, your music, and that's what it's all about. But it's a strange world we live in, you know. And
Music industry is even stranger.
sure, yeah.
We just got finished talking about what you guys do. What are your plans for the future? Do you have any kind of, other than doing, I mean, obviously it's a great service for the
Sure.
industry here. I mean, what is your plans outside of that? Do you have any?
Looking into acquiring a new space and kind of building our business a little bit. I think we're going to branch into some new markets here soon, and we're trying to figure out the development and the execution of those ideas now. But
So surprises.
yeah, surprises and big surprises, and you know, some new people are coming on board, and we're growing a little bit. But
Well, I want to get your information, or have you give your information for the viewers so
Sure.
they can get in touch with you, because they need to. I mean, obviously, we've got a lot of videos floating around, but this would bring a totally new depth to it, and they need to get that out there. So,
well, you can hit us up at Facebook at HotKey Studios or www.hotkeyproductions.com, or you can email us at hotkeyproductions@gmail.com. And my name is Blake, Trevor, Nick, and Cody. Either one of us will help you.
and I will share everything below on the comment section. I always put the everything so you can get in touch with it.
Down below.
Down below. We're in a new studio today. We're not in Young Avenue Sound. And what's the name of the studio?
This is Station 8.
Station 8.
Yeah, and you can email us at HotKey Productions, and we'll get you in here.
All righty. Awesome. It's a cool setup. I love it. And it's kind of got some historical value to it. And I'll let them talk to you about it, because it's like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'll just say the totally wrong thing. We got a promo reel that we want to show you guys to let you see the kind of work they've been doing, and play Who Do You Recognize on it too, because there's a lot of local awesome people on here, and
there
some
is.
not so local. Yes. So see if you can recognize who they are. Give us a little intro real quick.
Well, this is everything that we've been doing for the last couple of years. Not everything, but some of our more prouder moments. And here you go.